ReCalibur, eco-tools and youth work for collective creativity.
For me, it's very important to still go to nature on a daily basis. And I can feel it, especially when I moved to bigger city for my university studies, that, yeah, I need to go to nature every week.
And I think it's super important the people I surround myself with, and the nature, the place, the buildings. It has a huge effect.
I notice with the weather my mood change a lot, and the environment plays a big role in my mood. I'm learning how to not give it this big power to my surrounding, but still it's very important for me.
The last time here, during this training course, everybody is so open and honest and very, very approachable. So I feel very connected to these people, even though I met them like a week ago.
I live with 4 other people. We are tiny community, but we're more like a small family. But we're not family by blood, so I think that counts as a community, a small one at least. And I'm just super thankful that I live with them, with good people.
For example, yesterday when we were sitting around the campfire and there was like this loose atmosphere, we were playing guitars and just talking.
Yeah, community is every day.
Welcome to our ReCalibur project documentary. We are going to explore the fascinating intersection where ecology meets psychology and becomes eco-psychology, and how this connects to the well-being of young people. How did ReCalibur came to life? We, of course, all remember the pandemic, the fears, isolation, and how this reminded us how important it is for young people to have positive ways to express themselves and make a difference. This is why we created ReCalibur, to show what a fantastic world exists out there for the young minds and hearts to explore. Picture now our busy urban lives filled with tech, screens and LED lights, and think how often we forget the beauty of nature and what this offers us: inspiration, well-being and reconnection to the world. This is at the roots of our project ReCalibur. We witnessed in our line of work that when young people spend time in nature and engage in creative activities, something magical happens. The connection to the world around them becomes stronger, and they start to feel belongingness to their own human communities, as well as to our planet's biosphere. We have a simple and powerful idea to combine the wonders of the natural world together with the joy of being creative, to help young people in self-discovery and to discover parts of themselves they were unaware of when surrounded by forests and open skies. Then the imagination comes to life, art is created, thoughts expressed, and seeds are planted for the big dreams to blossom. Now we will take you on a journey through ReCalibur, where young people befriend the natural and more than human world, where creativity becomes a superpower, and explore how the natural world and creativity sum together for their mutual benefit. Let's start the journey then and explore how one project made a true difference and impact on the lives of young people. Be open for inspiration, amazement and excitement to find out about the endless possibilities that nature and creativity can bring. Welcome to ReCalibur, when young people minds light up with the opportunities that arise from combining nature and creativity.
First thing is belonging. Belonging to a group of people with same values or same interest, or just share something.
Probably the first one that comes to my mind is that there are different elements, everyone is different, so we can help each other. Someone is strong on one side that someone else is weak at, so if we are all working together we can find a balance and help each other.
It's belonging, and it is safety, it is comfort to be a part of a community.
That you have always someone to rely on when you have some problem or trouble. You can ask somebody, or you can also be the one to support another.
I think that benefits of belonging in a community are probably the mutual help, and also working together to a focus, and you can be empowered by this work together.
My community probably needs to work on showing these weaknesses, so when there is a problem or there is help needed, to ask for help, to not try to do everything on your own, but just ask for someone else's advice.
I think that my community really needs to work on an empathetic view of life, so active listening and this kind of things, because I think that really understanding what the other person is feeling permits you to be nearer to that person. So I think that can change your way of view with animals, people, the nature.
Our journey wants to reach 3 main goals called objectives. Each of these objectives is like a building block, contributing to our mission of empowering youth work and creativity. Objective 1, discovering the power of nature and creativity. In our first objective, we are diving into something called ecopsychology. This is about understanding how being in nature and expressing creativity can make us feel better and more connected. We saw how we could use these ideas to help young people feel empowered. Objective 2, creating tools for empowerment. Moving on to objective number 2, we are all about making tools. Imagine these tools like orchestra's instruments. We are crafting tools that youth workers, teachers and coaches can use to help young people. These tools will be like a guide to unlock creativity and connect with the community and the environment. Objective number 3, showing what works. Our third objective is like a puzzle piece that fits into the bigger picture. Here, we are not just talking about ideas, we are testing and prototyping them. We are going to gather evidence to show that our approach really works. We want to be able to say, look at how this way of combining nature, creativity and community actually makes a positive impact. For whom are we doing this? Our focus is on 2 main groups. Firstly, those who like with young people, like youth workers and educators, and through them we want to reach out to youth themselves, especially those who can feel left out and that all get their chance to shine. Lastly, our work should be accessible to everybody. We are sharing everything we learn and create in a special online place like a library, where you can find research, tools and even stories. It's a way for us to say, hey, look what we've done, it worked. This might help you too. All these plans were not just on paper. We turned everything into real actions. We are organized activities like trainings, meetings and events as opportunities for people to come together, learn and share, creating a space where ideas turn into action. Our first step was the international training course we held in Slovakia that brought together participants from all partners organizations. Here we explored non-formal education principles and tools. With a little twist, they were reformulated into an eco-psychological format. Then the tools become bridges that connected youth, community and the environment. It was a beautiful 7-day-long immersive experience with 25 participants. The second international training course embarked on coaching and mentoring techniques journey. The participants dove deep into topics such as how to support young people by involving active participation in natural surroundings and outdoor settings, reshaping many techniques into eco-psychological ones, just like we did in the first training, and the experience also lasted 7 days with 25 participants. Once the training courses were completed, every partner organized 2 local multiplier events. These were events where those who participated in the international training courses could multiply the knowledge, skills and attitudes they gained to the benefit of local youth. We are looking at vibrant local workshops where young people could, for example, nurture their visual and verbal storytelling skills, where they could craft the story of me and where do I belong, and color up their communities with creativity. These events held also narrative activities known as living libraries, where individuals shared their unique stories of connecting to the world. 5 events, 5 countries, 100 local youths involved. Another very important local event delivered in each of the 5 realities was a non-formal education workshop that invited local youth to dive deep into the outdoors and nature and encouraging them to transform their positive experiences in nature into fairy tales, to gift to schools and kindergartens, seeing the involvement of 100 young local people. Finally, everything came together when the international training courses participants and implementers of the multiplier local events drafted 10 action plans for local practice, reaching over 100 young people, many of whom coming from disadvantaged and marginalized backgrounds. And this is where impactful, lasting change successfully reached the local communities.
Ecopsychology is the combination of 2 words: ecology, the branch of biology that deals with the relations of organisms to one another and their physical surroundings, and psychology, the study of the human mind and its functions, especially those affecting the behavior in a given context. By combining how the outer environment, and that is our human and natural ecosystems, and the biosphere at large, impact and affect our mind, and how it works, and how this affects our behavior, meaning how well-being can be found also in establishing positive, constructive, balanced and responsible relations with the outer world, be it our community of fellow humans and our relations with the more than human world, resulting in improved physical and mental well-being. There is a lot of research out there carried out by different branches of science, from neurology to biology, to prove the positive impact one person can accomplish by having a simple walk in the forest, by volunteering, and overall by positively engaging with the surrounding world, resulting in hormonal rebalancing, increased neurotransmitter function, and improved functioning of the nervous systems and organs, and so on. The reason for that is to be found in the origin of our species, our human species, dating back to 2 million years ago. And the short span of time our current civilization exists, a mere 12,000 years, which means, in terms of evolution, to different extents, we are still at home in the outdoors, in the natural world. It still calls to us and still inspires us a sense of belonging to something greater that goes beyond ourselves. However, with humanity becoming more and more an urban species, many now suffer from what is becoming known as a nature deficit disorder. And on top of that, increasing number of humans, especially among young people, are suffering from a more renowned condition that is known as eco-anxiety. Eco-anxiety is a mixture of the grief, guilt and blame that we feel while we witness the destruction of our natural environment, the climate crisis and the doom and gloom predictions. If we take a look now at the pedagogical tools that exist today, they all have their roots a psychological school of thought or theory. Just look at how Kolb basically gave shape to what we know today as non-formal education. Just the same, eco-psychology can be the ground upon which to build an eco-pedagogy, or otherwise, as we call it in the context of the ReCalibur project, an eco-youth work, a way of doing youth work that enhances a young person's sense of belonging to both human and natural ecosystems, to expand a sense of self and identity that goes beyond the individual and includes our fellow humans and the biosphere at large, a way to obtain well-being, both mental and physical, just by facilitating experiential, positive experiences, activities with the human and the more than human world for a renewed human and nature pact that benefit both. This is why in this project we are not going to introduce concepts, approaches and methodologies meant to replace what already exists, nor to consider that as obsolete, but rather we want to expand on what exists and works by promoting the 5 core principles that bridge eco-psychology with non-formal education. So the first one is activities that remove the element of competition among learners or between learners and the outer environment, to be replaced with cooperation, consciousness, awareness, and mindfulness of the activity itself. The second one is activities that promote partnership and cooperation, and that goes for fostering partnership between participants in the learning activities and their cooperation, and can also be applied to fostering the same principles when individual learners are engaging with outdoors and with natural world settings. The third point is reciprocity, to stop the culture of objectification of communities, of individuals, of ecosystems, and to foster reciprocity, or otherwise mutuality. In other words, return the favor. If a learner gains something from interacting and being present in the forest, then the favor should be returned to the forest itself. Fourth, introduce elements of rituals and rites of passage into youth work and strengthen the existing ones, thus increasing the awareness and mindfulness of the importance of the activity ahead, marking its transformative potential and facilitating the temporary distancing from everyday reality, full presence in the process and integration of the learning into one's reality. Fifth, involve, activate and trust the deep imagination potential of young people by guiding inspiration, setting up constructive and positive experiences with the human and natural ecosystems that surround us.
Now we are going to unveil the meaning of our journey into eco-psychology in the context of non-formal education. To this end, we conduct a quite deep research activity, and now we are going to find out what was the purpose, the goals, the questions, and of course, the methodology. We aimed at the answers of fundamental question: what benefits arise from applying an eco-psychological approach to non-formal education, connecting nature, learning, and personal growth. To tackle this question, we divided into 3 focused sub-questions. The first, what is eco-psychology and how does it fit into non-formal education? We started by grasping the essence of the principles of eco-psychology by making a fairly big desk research that helped us to identify the presence of eco-psychology in existing educational approaches and what can we do to further integrate this in today's non-formal educational context. How can non-formal education tools be transformed through an eco-psychological lens was the second question, already moving towards more practical action, focusing on what methods already exist out there and what are the needs of youth workers. Then we started to tap into the insights of youth workers, educators, and support professionals in Austria, Denmark, Estonia, Italy, and Slovakia by inviting them to focus groups, asking for their insights on the eco-psychology approach, what further strengths can this methodology have, and helping us to find out how could eco-psychology improve and enhance their already existing work and practice. How does an eco-psychological approach elevate non-formal education? This was our third question as we move even more from theory to practice and begin to introduce eco-psychological tools and methods. Within the ReCalibur project, we held 2 international training courses, which served as a main platform to prototype these approaches, collect feedback, impressions, and testimonials from our participants, and through reflection on the methods to understand its efficacy and impact. And of course, our purpose was to collect as much qualitative data as we could. We also reached out to more youth workers, teachers, facilitators, and generally professionals in the field of education. Just as a reminder, our main goal was to identify and demonstrate how can an eco-psychological approach enhance and improve learning. To measure the impact of these new methodologies within the eco-psychology approach and tools, we used 2 main methods. Interviews. The participants were offered a series of questions during individual interviews during the international training courses. In the first training, participants were asked about their current situation, point of view regarding the challenges and issues they are facing, overall feelings and opinions concerning communities, nature and belonging. In the second round of the interviews, the same questions were given to the participants in order to assess and measure how participating in these training courses impacted their personal and professional life. After every international training course, all participants were asked to answer a written questionnaire with questions concerning the training course itself from practical, quantitative and qualitative perspectives, as well as assessing the tools, methods and takeout from the training that could impact their personal and professional life back home. Focus groups. Every partner gathered groups of youth workers, teachers, social workers and youth leaders in a facilitated session focus group that lasted between 45 and 90 minutes. The moderated discussion addressed the potential benefit their professional activities could gain from adopting the principles of eco-psychology. The great thing here was to bring together different professional backgrounds to confront each other over this topic, bringing insights that would not take place in a one-to-one interview. In our program, we planned 2 training courses, each envisaging the participation of 25 participants, and this was one of the main points for our data collection, as each of our partners recruited 5 participants to be involved in the project, meeting the following profile: active and experience in working with young people, interest and enthusiasm for the purpose and theme of the project, in a position to implement the learned techniques in local work with young people and their communities, in a position to implement the required local follow-up activities, aged 18+, good command of English language, residents in one of the 5 countries involved in the project.
Eco-psychology, as we discovered before, is the combination of ecology and psychology. But after taking a broad view at its principles, methodology and approach, we can see elements of anthropology, ethnography, sociology and philosophy embedded in this practice that looks beyond the mental health of individuals and rather at the well-being of individuals that is connected to the health of our species, that is in turn connected to the well-being of our planet. One way to define eco-psychology can be the study of human attitude and behaviors towards sustainability and regeneration. Eco-psychology as a term was coined in the 1990s. However, its founder, Professor Theodor Roszak, And many therapist practitioners admit that this is not a brand new branch of psychology, rather raising awareness about what already exists and identify the best way to use it where our well-being connects to that of our planet. However, when we look at education, we can find elements of what today we call ecopsychology almost everywhere, where Piaget and Vygotsky enhance the sense of community and mutual responsibility, or Steiner introduced into education a pace that is connected to nature and fostering connections with the natural world. And when it comes to its use in non-formal education, the easiest example that comes to our mind is the Scout movement, that for over a century has been promoting positive and healthy connection between individuals and groups, and between these individuals and groups with the natural environment and surrounding, embedding its learning activities, the safeguard, protection, and appreciation and respect of the natural world. And just like Scouts, we have other nature-based youth groups and non-formal education practitioners. Take, for example, the global 4-H movement that also dates back many decades. One very nice example is in the USA. There is the School of Lost Borders that has taken the principles of ecopsychology by reintroducing rites of passage and ritualized learning, by reviving indigenous practices combined with modern scientific knowledge applied to education, development, growth, and therapy. The examples are multiple, and there have been existing since long before the word ecopsychology was invented. So, what about the non-formal education and youth work practices in Europe today? In Europe, we have the Erasmus Plus program that co-funds non-formal education activities for young people, which would be the ideal ground for the development and application of an ecopsychological approach to education. Nonetheless, very few trainers, coaches, and youth workers adopt this methodology and approach. And that is for multiple reasons. Well, first of all, it can be a lack of knowledge about this field. Only few European universities offer courses on these topics, though it's rising. And there is a stigma that outdoors engagement automatically translates into adventure, hardships, and obstacles to overcome, or even survival. And that the term ecopsychology might be scary for those who do not have a mental health educational background, believing that a vast amount of notions are necessary to be had in order to adopt its principles into non-formal education processes. And that is one of the purposes of ReCalibur, to raise awareness about this approach, to remove this stigma and make this approach as accessible as possible to the wide youth work community in Europe and beyond.
Based on the data collected before and after the interviews, we conclude that the methods and tools used during both training courses had an impact on an individual level for most participants. The first training demonstrated that even in a short frame, 8 days, and with the significant differences in people, a sense of belonging and community can be created through the specific methodology that creates space for connection, authenticity, support, and mutual understanding. The second training signified the importance of spending time in natural environment and its immediate benefits to people's feelings and mental health. Most participants recognized the potential of applying these or similar methods and tools in their local reality and youth work. Constructive feedback was gathered to evaluate the methods and tools and bring possible improvements and new methods in the future. To surpass the individual level, the question of how these participants will further apply the learning outcomes of the training was also placed in the survey. As a part of the project, the participants agreed to organize a multiplier event as well as a local action in their home realities. Besides these events, there were responses like organizing a trip to nature for students with an overnight stay. I'm going to apply it in my work as a youth and social worker. This suggests that the participants recognize the potential of these methods in their practice and everyday life.
Be part of a community is something like So I can feel sense in general. So yeah, I can feel sense to be part of community with some other people. Yeah, and not be alone in my mind. You know.
To feel that you are part of something and that you're not alone, I think. Because especially in a world where there's so much loneliness as well, especially among young people, I think it's quite important to feel that you belong to a group and that you also have someone that you can count on. Because it's easier if you are able to speak about your problems with people and you're not just having to be alone with them, because otherwise it's just gonna get worse over time, I think.
The focus groups were carried out in Austria, Denmark, Estonia, Italy and Slovakia, and each addressed the question, how can the eco-psychological approach to non-formal education improve the post-pandemic situation? And here it is important to mention that the topics and outcomes of the discussions were almost the same everywhere. The questions aimed at gathering a better understanding of the goal and purpose of their profession, their points of view of what it means to work with young people, and to describe the process through their own unique personal perspective. The challenges expressed and consideration were extremely similar, regardless of the reality and country. Youth workers widely adopted words such as opportunities, empowerment, safe space, and environment. Whereas when they were asked about specific activities in their line of work, a variety of actions, tools, and methodologies were mentioned. Nonetheless, the physical environment was mentioned just once, and the outdoors, or our natural environment, not even once, which clearly shows the need to showcase and demonstrate the benefits of inspiring this sector to be empowered to invest more effort and resources in engaging with their surrounding ecosystems. When it came to discuss about different physical environments where their activities could take place, the vast majority mentioned that almost all their activities take place in indoor setting. Well, just with the exception of those like Scouts who focused on outdoors education and who greatly contributed to expressing the benefit of working outdoors. This was a very clear indicator that the investment in natural environments is very underestimated in youth work. And the sector is under-informed of the benefits and added value this can have in working with young people. The answers also showed that all youth workers are putting major efforts to ensure that their profession and activities support a sense of belonging in young people. And when discussing the different approaches they each adopted, we could see slight signs of uncertainty, whether their chosen methods actually achieve the purpose, are useful towards developing belongingness and community, and to some extent, even unsure about the impact. A general conclusion was that it would be beneficial for all the participants involved to access more guidelines and concrete methods that could improve their work and its impact. A most interesting point was that most youth workers showed active interest in the tools and methodology we are developing here in ReCalibur, and made inquiries about sharing these tools, events, methods, and guidelines, demonstrating the sector's need for new methods and tools that address connectivity. The research shows that ecopsychology has a huge potential to be applied in youth work, as it focuses on the relationship between human beings and the natural world. And if we combine the principles of ecopsychology and youth work, then it will strengthen the opportunity of young people to develop a deeper understanding, as well as appreciation of the natural world, which will have a positive impact on both mental and physical well-being. One important aspect of ecopsychology in youth work takes place through nature-based programming. This involves including young people in outdoors activities that help them both connect with nature and to learn more about it through experience. Examples can be found in nature walks, gardening, camping, conservation projects, and this is just to mention a few. When youth engages with these activities, they can indeed develop a stronger connection to the natural world with tangible well-being outcomes. Another aspect of applying ecopsychology in youth work is to help young people to develop a deeper sense of environmental responsibility and stewardship. This can include educating young people about environmental issues and to encourage them to take action to protect the biosphere and its ecosystem by helping young people to develop connections to the natural world and at the same time awareness and motivation in their role in preservation as well as regeneration. Overall, ecopsychology can be applied to youth work by promoting positive mental well-being, healthy developments as well as environmental responsibility in young people. So let's summarize. The applicability of ecopsychology in youth work lies in its potential to promote healthy development, positive mental health outcomes, and environmental responsibility among young people.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Well, I can try to be myself, be open, be willing to share my experience, my love, everything like what I have, and try to do my best for the people around me, for the environment, so we can live some sustainable life.
I think that I can empower my community taking care of myself and also others. I think that I have the power to organizing things and let people think maybe good and better working together. So using maybe my skills to say people, come on, we can do something.
We share often a common goal. We are trying to get somewhere, to learn some more. But of course there is a part that's always just me, and that's okay.
I feel like my community should learn how to interact with less aggression and with more support and really trying to understand the person who are you talking to and listen and really be interested in what this person is feeling and how can you support it in a way that would be a pleasant existence in this world.
My community at home needs to learn and understand to be more supported that diversity is all around us.
I think they need to become more open-minded. They need to learn the ability of putting yourself in some other people's shoes so they can understand the world from more perspectives. And the more you understand, the more you collect of information from different people.
I really like the activities. It's amazing experience. I just want to say that everybody should experience something like this because it really learned me a lot I learned how to set my boundaries, and I learned what am I good at and what am I not good at. So really everybody should try it.
Well, I think that I really feel like honored and empowered for this experience. It was beautiful to see people really connecting from the first day and sharing important pieces of their life without filters or barriers. And it makes you feel that actually it's just a choice, that in our everyday life we forget that we relate through important stuff and deep stuff that we experience in our life, and we think that as humans we can connect with small talk, and it's not like that. That only brings us to society that doesn't have strong connections. And here in just 1 week we managed to have some really strong one through ourselves. And I will always remember these people and these stories in my life, I think, because I learned so much through them, and I'm really happy.
As we conclude our exploration of the ReCalibur project, we invite you to take part in the ongoing journey. Our adventure doesn't end here, it's just the beginning. We witnessed how ecopsychology breathes life into non-formal education, fostering connections with both the human and the more than human worlds. The impact of these initiatives is far-reaching, shaping the way young people engage with their surroundings and embrace their inner and innate creativity. For those eager to dive deeper, there's more to explore. ReCalibur offers you a treasure of resources, from research insights to creative tools and the stories that emerge from this transformative project. If you are passionate about youth work, education, nature and creativity, this is your chance to make a difference. Visit our website to learn more, access our resources, and become part of the community dedicated to nurturing ecocentric human potential. Thank you for joining us on this remarkable journey. Let's continue working together to empower young people, foster creativity, and build a balanced relationship with our world.
ReCalibur, Eco-Tools and Youth Work for Collective Creativity, is co-founded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Commission through the Slovak National Agency NIVM.